Okay, Jobina,
What's up?
we are doing a show about cults. And I remembered a couple years ago reading about a guy who was claiming to be Jesus or God, you know. So I went to the internet and I said, Google, guy who claims to be Jesus. There's a Wikipedia page for a list of people who claim to be Jesus.
Yeah, they're like, which one do you want?
Yeah, right. Right. So I'm looking down at 21st century. And I see Maurice Clemens. And I'm like, bruh, come on, man. Come on, bruh. But then I also saw this guy named Oscar Ramiro Ortega Hernandez. He was the guy who shot at the White House when Obama was president.
Yes. Okay.
I remember hearing about that, but yeah, this guy thought that Barack Obama was the Antichrist, and he was sent specifically stop Obama.
Wow.
He thought Obama was putting GPS tracking devices into children.
No.
And this is a hallmark. He thought the world was going to end in 2012.
Okay.
They've all been wrong.
Right. It's like, surely, Jesus, you could.
They've all been wrong.
You get it right. Oh no.
Every person feels like they have to predict, like, this is the day,
the end of the world.
And it's just like, no. So I wonder. I don't know if he's in jail now or if he got killed. But like, what's he thinking now? Like, or maybe he thinks like, if I had been successful, the world would have ended. But like, so this is what happens with these prophecies, right? Like, you prophesy something. And then when it doesn't happen, you say, "Oh no! It was contingent upon something else that didn't happen." Okay. Yeah. So.
But don't you think maybe he's in jail also thinking about like his next attempt to save the world? Like, I mean, maybe he's still on a mission.
A new date. Yeah. Like
a new date.
No, I didn't mean.
I have new information.
Yeah. It wasn't to 2012. It was 2022. They're like, well, that's past two. No. I meant 2032.
32.
Well, and that happened. So we come from a church who had the beginning of this church. They predicted the end times. The end times did not come, and they sort of changed their message.
They regrouped. They did.
And said, no. We didn't mean that.
That's not what we meant.
All right, let's start the show. Hey everyone, this is Luther Palmer.
And I'm Jobina Scott.
And welcome to One Episode Stand, a podcast where each episode we watch and discuss the series premiere of a new television show, usually without spoilers.
And then like the Rolling Stones we move on to the next show. Everybody's out here having one-night stands, but we are having one-episode stands.
We love them and leave them. We smash and dash, but we do it for you, the listeners, to help you figure out what shows to watch and what shows to skip. Jobina, how are you doing? You are sipping, what are you sipping? Coffee, tea? What's your thing?
It's tea. I needed a little pick-me-up this morning because, as you all know, we record either early or late. And both of them are a challenge for me, so I have to do what I have to do to keep myself.
So why not coffee?
Because making coffee is harder. So I had a limited amount of energy this morning, so that meant water and a bag and the microwave.
You don't have a Keurig? Is that what they're called?
No, so I'm not that kind of coffee drinker. I drink coffee for two reasons. One, if I am extremely tired and I have more work to do, I will drink coffee. And then two, I use coffee as a vehicle to get in my protein drink. So I buy like the pre-made cold brew Starbucks coffee. I keep it in my fridge. I have creamer in my fridge. And then I have a liquid protein drink that's like a vanilla flavor. So I will make that with ice, pour my protein drink in it, but it really is just a delicious vehicle to get the protein drink in.
You lost me at delicious because...
I know you don't like coffee.
It's a vehicle. I don't know about how delicious it is.
But once you put like the requisite amount of sugar
right
in the coffee,
yeah.
It to me, because I put caramel macchiato creamer, so it just tastes like a dessert.
Once you negate all the benefits of the protein you're putting in,
it's fabulous.
Right. Then it's a delicious treat. Okay, Jobina, we are here to discuss Waco, American Apocolypse.
American Apocolypse. So you can find this show which is a docuseries on Netflix. And it's about 45 minutes long. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah. What did you know? So what did you remember about Waco?
I mean, I remembered the name of the Branch Davidians.
Mm-hmm.
I knew who David Koresh was.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of understood the story just based on the federal raid of the compound
Mm-hmm.
and like how many people lost their lives. But I didn't know a whole heck of a lot else.
Yeah, I remember for some reason the number 51-day standoff stuck in my mind.
Okay.
And I remember that David Koresh believed himself to be
Correct. The Christ.
Not Jesus, but like God, like the next version of Jesus, right? Like he never said I am Jesus, but like he said he considered himself to be a savior.
Yeah.
And I remember that he was marrying children. And I remember that the compound burned to the ground and the FBI and ATF said we didn't do it. And some of the people who were in the compound said they didn't do it. So there's always been this lingering mystery about two things. Actually, about who shot the first shot and then also who lit the compound on fire. Okay, so how did the show look, sound, and feel for you?
Very much like a good documentary. We've got a combination of like footage from that time period, interviews, etc. So, old documentary.
Yeah, they claim to have never before seen footage.
Yes, they did.
And I'm thinking how do you have never before seen footage? I mean, this has been 30 years. Right. Where has this footage been? Like,
why wouldn't you have shared it?
Like no one had this. No one wanted to share it. You've been holding on to it for 30 years to make this documentary
for this very moment.
Right. But I also thought they tried not to take sides. They tried to show here's some good, heartwarming stories about the ATF people.
The people.
And then here are some really bad things the ATF did. And then here are some good, heartwarming things about what was happening on the compound. And then here are some bad things that were happening on the compound. It wasn't none of the good was compelling to me on either side.
None of it. Not a bit of it.
None of the heartwarming, he was a good ATF agent. None of that landed for me. Like it was everything involved in this was bad. And I felt myself wanting the tea. Like don't give me he was a kind father. Like don't give me that. Like who was trigger happy? Who had who was being abused or what agents had problematic past. Like I need to know what happened, who did what and when, not who was a nice guy.
Well, now I will tell you, the man who was shot so many times, including like through the bridge of his nose, that was wrapped up in a blanket on the hood of a truck to be like taken out. I did feel bad for him. I said, no, he suffered enough. He suffered enough.
It was just a weird, like I had forgotten that in the initial siege, agents were inside the compound. Like they had breached and got inside the compound and they were like shooting people in the hallway and being shot at. Like that was wild to me.
I did not realize that.
I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy who's going to jump into a window for my government to try to disarm religious nutcases. Like I'm not that guy.
Well, and here's what I'm trying to understand. What was so important about dismantling the group? Like that they were a danger in what way?
Well, okay, so this is interesting because I think there were two things happening. One, the ATF led this thing. And I guess this group had hand grenades, which I think are illegal.
Yeah, it was a lot about the weapons.
A lot about the weapons. But then there was this piece of, but they're also marrying children, right?
There's that, right?
So like
you have to nip that in the bud.
So when you're thinking like, okay, there's a 51-day standoff, and as you know, with every passing day, at some point they said they were spending $1 million a day on this siege.
I know.
And you're thinking like, okay, it does have to end, but like, does it have to end? Like, I mean, everyone's sort of caught in this thing,
this moment
where it's like, should we breach now? Like, is it worth losing lives? Right. Is it worth potentially harming the women and children in the building? Or do we like sit back and do we do this forever? Like, does this just go on and on and on?
Right.
And I appreciated the toughness of the spot for everyone involved.
Right.
Okay, what themes came up for you in this episode?
Well, I mean, I was thinking about like how to get swept up in this stuff. Like, what is the compelling case for you to, for example, as a man, take your wife and children to a place where all of them are going to be abused?
Yeah.
Like, what is the compelling case for people? How do people get caught up? Like, what is the missing piece for people? That just stood out to me the most, because when you look at, especially some of the interviews of the people who had been in the compound, like there's still so much brokenness there.
Still,
the woman who was describing herself as a child, she lost her father. Like, she could barely get through the interview without crying, because there's just a lot of brokenness. So to me, like the central question is, how do you allow yourself to get caught up in a cult where you're putting yourself in danger, you're putting your children in danger, but you believe you're doing it for God?
I wish I had the answer to that question, but it is a great mystery. And I guess I can only imagine that two things. People are longing for something. That's the first thing. And then I can only imagine it happens gradually. Like day one, we don't show you all the crazy, right? We show you all the good.
We're just singing and praying and reading the Bible.
And what the accounts were that David, one guy said, I've never seen a person who dedicated himself to God morning, noon, and night more than David Koresh. Like this guy is on fire for the Lord.
Except for when he was raping children.
Except for when he was raping children. But the woman said at one point, she said, I understand it looks bad for him to be marrying 12-year-old kids. But you have to understand, in our culture, a girl comes of age at 12 years old. No, and no. Yeah. So for me, I mean, I have done deep dives into cult stuff. I mean, it is a fascinating paradigm for me. Like the Jim Jones, like it's just very fascinating. Where are you on the Second Amendment stuff? Like, are you right
to bear arms type of person?
You're from Texas, so I'm assuming you have 20 guns.
I was going to say we have many, many guns. No, I mean,
I'm assuming that there's always a gun in reach for you.
So, I mean, I think people obviously they take it way too far. But I actually have a completely tangential story. So my husband is from, he's from the rural South. He is like a hunter. And I remember when we first started dating, he took me to his hometown. And one of the things he wanted me to do was to shoot a rifle. So I'm like there with the headset on. I'm so scared. And I'm like, but I shot a rifle, and I was like, how do people just wield these things? Like, I don't understand how you feel comfortable with a firearm. Like, my shoulder blew back. Like, it was a lot. Have you ever shot a firearm?
I've never shot a rifle. I've been to pistol ranges 5 times in my life. And it is.
Why do people do that?
It is, well, it's fun. No, it's fun. It is fun but it's fun, but it's weird because you're standing in this room and you realize at any point in time, the person next to me can have a mental breakdown and kill me. Like it's over.
And kill you.
Yeah. So for that reason, I'm never totally comfortable. But firing guns it's a fun thing. It's like bowling. Like I don't want to bowl every week. But like once a year, every other year, let's go bowling and have fun.
Let's go bowling. No.
With the one added fear. There's a little bit of fear when you're in a pistol range.
Now, when you're bowling, the person next to you could have a mental break and you could also die.
Right.
Don't underestimate the danger.
But I think that the right to bear arms, I think in theory, like it's great. Like people should be allowed to defend themselves.
You should be able to protect yourself.
From other people and from the government. But I think when you add in the reality that this country is just so sick. It's like guns are just kerosene on top of the dumpster fire that is America right now. I mean, just like, there's rampant bullying in school, there's homophobia and transphobia, there's this every man for themselves model of capitalism that leaves so many people in poverty. like and hopeless. There's like inadequate access to healthcare, which primarily including like therapy, like all these things. You just add guns to it. It just makes it. I mean, there's so many veterans who are struggling, and a lot of the gun violence is suicide.
Yeah,
it's just like. And I don't know what to do. Like I don't.
What do we do?
And I tend to be pretty far left when it comes to politically, but I don't know what to do about guns. Like I'm not like take everyone's guns, but at the same time I'm like everyone can't have a gun though.
Yeah, and especially assault rifles. Like let's start there. Like a gun that can just kill so many people so quickly. If we could just start there.
Yeah. So where are you on 33-year-old men having sex with 12-year-old girls?
I'm completely against it. Let's be clear.
What are the positives and negatives of this?
You're not grown when you're 12. You're not there. That was craziness. That was absolute crazy making.
But what
Who
about
would allow their daughter?
Right.
I don't get it.
But what about the 18-year-old threshold? How do you feel about the age of consent? Because this extends to sex, right, and sexual relationships. It extends to voting. It extends to military service. Like, where are you on 18?
Okay, so you're a scientist. You're going to know this better than I am. But think about brain development and when your brain has truly developed for you to be able to make really good decisions.
Right.
It's not 18. It is not 18. It just isn't.
But can you keep people? I mean, oh man. I mean, it's just like, I don't know, because I have great aunts and uncles that got married at 14 and 15.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like 18 now isn't what 18 used to be, because we sort of coddle our kids and they're not as independent. So they're even further behind, I think, now than they were 60 years ago. But like I don't know. It's just I would not advocate anyone get married at that age.
Speaking of coddling our kids and not as independent, this is like a complete departure from this conversation. Have you seen, there's a show on Netflix where parents are sending their very, very small children on an errand and like videotaping
yes.
Like, okay, sweetheart, I need you to go to the store. And the 2-year-old is like, I can't do it. So yeah, we're not doing that so much anymore.
Right. In fact, that would be child abuse in America.
Right. You would be arrested.
Korea or Japan? Where is that?
Yes. I don't know, but it's definitely an Asian show.
Right.
But it kills me. These kids are like, okay, I'm crossing the street now.
That is a great show. I love watching that show because it is so funny. Because they are super small and they're like,
they're like,
little. We need this thing. Like, we need you to get this. Like, please hurry.
Kids are they're crying, but they're going to do it. They're like, okay.
And they get distracted and
so funny.
Yeah, I mean, 18 is one thing, 12 is a whole different thing. And I guess I've heard that 12 comes up because people actually think that the Virgin Mary was young.
What?
Yeah, like people think that the Virgin Mary was around that age and Joseph was significantly older. And I would only imagine that Koresh used those verses
to convince people
that like this is okay. The other weird thing is, and this is where you talked about like how does it get to this point?
Right.
David Koresh had convinced the men in the commune that sex wasn't good, and
for them,
right? And he would take on the burden of sex,
with their wives,
So he was the only one, and so then when the women would get pregnant, the kids would be David Koresh's kids.
They would be all his kids.
And I'm thinking, I could see myself. Look, I don't claim to be better than other people, right? Like I could see myself getting caught up in some foolishness and being on some commune. But when he comes to me and says, Luther, I'm going to have sex with your wife.
I'm gonna take this over for you.
I'm doing this for you because I love you so much. I don't want you to have sex with her. I care about your soul salvation.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do it. That's where I draw the line. I just.
Yeah, that night you're gonna be like, pack your stuff.
And then she'd be like, well, let's hear him out.
I think there's some merit to this.
Right. Because one of the women said that David Koresh would lead these all-night Bible studies. And she said she would hang around in the Bible study hoping that he would choose her afterwards.
My goodness.
It's just like, come on, y'all. Seriously?
Well, she was like, if he doesn't choose me, nothing's gonna happen.
And then, but she would say that, she said when you go into the room, it was a special room, and she said it'd be like an all-night Bible study. She said he would be like having sex with you while giving you a Bible study.
No, please stop it.
It's just like, what is happening?
Well, but now have you heard of these people who are like praying before?
Oh, right.
I'm just like, it's okay to love God and then leave him out.
I did remember a couple that used to say, because we both raised Seventh-day Adventists, so Saturday was like God's day, right? And I did remember hearing a couple say that they intentionally had sex on Saturday, like that was their day. They were called to use Saturday for marital relations.
No, we were called.
And I was not mad. I was like, bro, however you got to phrase it.
You were like, let me just.
However you need to phrase it to make it work for you, go for it.
And we were called. Oh my.
So it's a funny thing. So we would, go to church on Saturday, and then a group of us would like go out to eat somewhere or meet at someone's house for dinner, and they would always be late. Right? That they would always be late. And then everyone knew. Like everyone knew why they were late.
This is their time.
Because they were going home to get it in. And it was just like, this is weird, but then also not weird, but then also weird. Like,
right. It's like, I mean, whatever day. Oh no.
Okay. More or less. What did you want to see more of or less of?
I mean, I remember very little about this, so I want to fill in the blanks of what I didn't really understand about this story. And to your point, like they're fairly balanced in the way that they present it, so I feel like I'm going to be able to draw my own conclusions.
Yeah, I want to see less of the ATF side, because that's less, it's just less interesting to me. Like you're a big government bureaucracy. Like we know your story. I think the Branch Davidian side was the more compelling because it's such a weird thing. Like they're just a bunch of weirdos.
Weird people.
And I also want to hear more of interviews of the people who left the compound during this time, but are still very much like they don't feel like, woo, I was in a weird space. Like they feel like, no, like we were doing the right thing.
That was part of my spiritual journey.
I learned that, and I thought that David Koresh had started this group. I learned
that I did not know.
Yeah, this group had been around for generations, and he sort of wrestled power away from the son of the person who started it. I was like, wow,
never knew that.
So they were out there for a long time.
Yes,
but I want to hear more of that, like because there were people who were like, my parent, I was a child and my parents were, I think one woman said her parents were raised in the group. So they had like multi-generational touch points in this group. I want to hear more about the group.
Yeah.
Okay. Marry, sex, or one night stand? I mean, I'm going to ask you about the man himself.
Oh, God. No. I'm going to get a vest on. I'm going to join the ATF crew. And I'm going in guns blazing.
But so we both went to a Christian university.
Yeah.
And I remember a lot of guys used to use this religious stuff as like game on women, right? Like, let's have Bible study together. Let's go to prayer meeting. Let's go to Bell Tower, which was like a ministry on campus. Like, did that ever move you?
No, and I'm going to tell you why I know I'm completely immune to it. Every kid on our campus had like not every kid, but lots of kids had a work study job. My work study job was like a secretarial job in the religion and theology department.
Oh, okay.
And guys would be coming in there, and I'm like, miss me, just miss me on the way out.
What do you mean?
No way. Like, there was no way I was going to be a pastor's wife. No
Jabina, you might have missed your calling.
No, I knew that about myself. I was like, I would ruin your ministry. I'd get you in a lot of trouble. I can't. So just get out of here with that. Keep it moving.
I don't know that there were any women in here worth me even evaluating, right? It was mainly a man-dominated show.
Yeah. Well, the two of the people they were interviewing were women. One was a child who got out, and then the woman who let her children go. Oh my God. That to me, she really thought, I mean, when you listen to the conversations that parents were having with their kids,
right? They
were both trying to comfort them, like, mommy loves you or daddy loves you, but like God has a plan. God keeps his promises. Stay resolute. Like, I'm like, wow. Wow.
And I think maybe that was some of the unseen footage or unheard footage.
Yeah.
Because and maybe this is unreleased footage because it was government property, like the negotiations that they were having with David Koresh.
Yeah.
Like you could hear a lot of conversations that Koresh was having with his followers. You could hear conversations that they would when they would release the children, they would let the parents talk to the children, right? Because they were like, we want the parents to know the kids are safe, they're not going anywhere. So they even set up these kids in like a school type of area, and they had like video.
Of them playing in the playground.
And they would show the video to the parents to let the parents know, like, this is okay. Like, we're not the devil. We're not taking your kids and doing weird things to them. But those conversations, you're right. The parents having this conversation with these kids, like, stay resolute. God has a plan. I love you. It was very weird.
It was very weird.
Very weird. Okay. So nobody for me to evaluate. Thank goodness, because, all right, so now the question: are you going to watch more episodes of Waco, or was this a one episode stand?
Yeah, I think I'm not gonna say I'm gonna finish the series, but I'm definitely gonna watch a few more.
You're gonna watch? I think there's only 3 episodes. I think it's a limited series.
Well, then I'm probably gonna watch the whole thing. I was giving it 2 more episodes in my mind, so
yeah, I'm all in. And I think there is a show on Showtime right now that's also on Waco. I think it's a scripted show at the same time. And I think I might find that. Yeah, I'm all in on the cult stuff. Like I cannot get enough, whether it's a scripted show or a docuseries. Like, I'm all in. So I'm definitely going to watch more episodes. All right, anything else? Did we cover the American Apocalypse? American Apocalypse seems a little...
It's a little sensational.
It's a little sensational.
For the content,
right. All right, thank you for listening to One Episode Stand. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to the podcast to be alerted when new episodes drop. They will literally send you a push notification every time we release an episode. If you're listening on iTunes, please give us a rating. Please rate the show. The theme music is Freedom by Paradox Hip Hop, and we'll be back next time with another series premiere. Jobina, let's end on this. Every story has a moral. What was the moral of this episode? Yeah, so the moral of the episode for me is when your religious leader cuts off access to your spouse, it's time to get out. If that happens, you're in a cult, my friend, and you need to get out now. Why do the cults always have sexual stuff going on? Man, it's always sexual. It's like there's just some dude who is like, how can I get as many women as possible? I know. I'll start a church. But even broadly, like religion, they're always concerned with what's happening in the bedroom. Like there's an obsessiveness with telling people what they can do in the bedroom, who they can do it with, how they can do it. And I think that's how people go off the rails, though. Like there's all these restrictions and somebody is going to go off the rails. Yeah, that's my takeaway too. Like, don't let a man who has long hair and who claims to be Jesus have sex with your wife. Like, don't do it. All right, everybody. See you next time. Bye, everybody.